you express through every decision, every expectation, every action you take. One day, you wake up and notice something subtle. The same circumstances that once made you anxious now feel manageable. The same delays that once frustrated you now feel neutral. The same comparisons that once drained you now feel irrelevant. This is not because life suddenly became easy. It is because your internal economy changed. You stopped operating from shortage and started operating from sufficiency. Not excess, not fantasy, sufficiency. Enough clarity to move, enough patience to wait, enough confidence to act without rushing. This is how an abundance mindset settles in. Quietly, gradually, without announcement. Let us slow this down and walk through what those 30 days truly represent, not as a calendar challenge, but as a mental retraining period. 30 days is not magic. It is simply long enough to interrupt old patterns and install new ones. Your brain learns by repetition, not intention. You do not rewire thinking by wishing. You rewire it by practicing the same direction long enough that it becomes familiar. Familiarity becomes comfort. Comfort becomes identity. Scarcity thinking thrives on urgency. It tells you that if you do not act now, you will lose everything. It pushes you into reaction. Abundance thinking introduces space. It allows you to pause. It allows you to respond instead of react. That pause is not weakness, it is power. When you insert space between stimulus and response, you regain control. That is where choice lives. Ask yourself how often you rush decisions because of fear. Fear of missing out, fear of falling behind, fear of being left out. Scarcity feeds on that fear. Abundance starves it by replacing urgency with clarity. Over these 30 days, your first responsibility is not to add more effort, it is to remove unnecessary panic. Calm is not complacency. Calm is precision. You begin by noticing language. The words you use internally shape the outcomes you expect. When something does not work, do you say, "This always happens?" Or do you say, "This needs adjustment"? One sentence closes the door, the other keeps it open. Abundance lives in open doors. Scarcity lives in conclusions. The moment you decide something is final, growth stops. The moment you decide something is flexible, growth resumes. Think about how you interpret delays. Scarcity sees delay as denial. Abundance sees delay as preparation. One interpretation weakens you, the other strengthens you. The event does not change, the meaning does. Meaning is everything. During this process, you will notice resistance, not from the world, but from yourself. Old habits will argue. Old fears will surface. They will say this way of thinking is unrealistic. They will say you are lowering your guard. That is not intuition. That is conditioning. Conditioning always resists change, even when change is beneficial. Do not negotiate with it. Observe it. Let it speak. Then continue. This is where discipline returns to the conversation. Discipline is not harshness. It is loyalty to your long-term self. Every time you choose a thought that aligns with abundance instead of scarcity, you are voting for the person you are becoming. One vote does not decide an election, but enough votes create an outcome that feels inevitable. You may not feel different in the first week. That's normal. You may feel more aware, even uncomfortable. Awareness often precedes change. By the second week, you may notice slight shifts, quicker recovery from frustration, less emotional charge around setbacks. By the third week, patterns start to weaken. Reactions lose intensity. By the fourth week, new defaults begin to form, not perfectly, but reliably. Abundance is not about denying reality. It's about interpreting reality in a way that expands your options instead of shrinking them. When money is tight, abundance does not say, "Everything is fine." It says, "Let's manage wisely and improve capacity." When progress is slow, abundance does not say, "Pretend it is fast." It says, "Let's stay consistent and measure." This is grounded thinking, practical thinking, sustainable thinking. You cannot build abundance by lying to yourself. You build it by telling yourself better truths, truths that empower instead of paralyze. As momentum builds, something interesting happens. You stop seeking constant reassurance. You no longer need external validation to keep going. You trust your process. Trust reduces noise. Noise reduction increases focus. Focus improves results. Results reinforce trust. This loop replaces the old scarcity loop of doubt, hesitation, and regret. Eventually, abundance becomes visible in how you relate to others. You listen more patiently. You compare less. You give without fear of loss, not because you have more, but because you fear less. Scarcity is fear-based. Abundance is confidence-based. Confidence grows from competence. Competence grows from consistent practice. This mindset also changes how you handle success. Scarcity fears success because it fears loss. Abundance welcomes success but does not cling to it. It understands that growth is ongoing. Nothing needs to be protected with desperation. Everything needs to be stewarded with wisdom. When setbacks happen, and they will, abundance does not collapse. It recalibrates. It asks, what does this teach me, instead of why does this happen to me? One question moves you forward, the other traps you in narrative. Over time, you realize that abundance is not about accumulation, it's about circulation. Ideas, effort, learning, value. The more freely these flow, the stronger your position becomes. Hoarding blocks flow. Flow creates expansion. This is why breakthrough is not a moment of intensity, it is a state of alignment. When your thoughts, habits, and actions point in the same direction, progress becomes inevitable. You no longer fight yourself, you work with yourself. One day, without ceremony, you notice that you trust yourself more. You keep promises to yourself. You recover faster. You think longer term. You feel less rushed. That is abundance taking root. And from that place, you do not need constant motivation. You have structure. You do not need constant excitement. You have direction. You do not need guarantees. You have resilience. This is how an abundance mindset is built over 30 days, not through dramatic declarations, through daily alignment, through quiet discipline, through patient repetition. You are not trying to become someone else. You are uncovering the version of you that operates without chronic fear of lack. That version has always been possible. You are simply training yourself to access it consistently. Stay with the process. Stay honest. Stay patient. One day, you will look back and realize that the world did not change first. You did. And because you did, everything else began to respond differently.
Most people believe abundance is something you arrive at one day. They think it is a reward. They think it appears after the right job, the right break, the right connection, or the right amount of money. They believe scarcity is temporary and abundance is permanent, and that the only difference between the two is time. That belief sounds comforting. It sounds reasonable, but it is not true. Abundance is not a destination you reach. It is a way you think, long before results show up. Scarcity is not caused by a lack of opportunity. It is caused by a pattern of thinking that narrows what you see, what you attempt, and what you believe is possible. If you do not change that pattern, no amount of success will feel like enough. If you do change it, even small progress will feel rich with possibility. So the work you are about to hear is not about chasing more. It is about training your mind to see, choose, and act differently. That is where abundance begins. Success always looks visible from the outside. People see the house, the career, the confidence, the calm. What they do not see is the quiet, invisible work that built it. Abundance is like a deep reservoir underground. On the surface, you may see only dry land for a long time, but beneath the surface, water is slowly collecting. Every thought you choose, every reaction you train, every habit you repeat is either adding to that reservoir or draining it. You do not build abundance by dramatic gestures. You build it by steady, unseen choices. Most people abandon the work because they do not see immediate proof. They stop digging because the ground still looks dry, but those who understand the process keep going because they trust what cannot yet be seen. That is how abundance grows quietly before it ever shows loudly. Opportunity does not create abundance. Preparation does. Opportunity visits everyone. It does not stay long. It does not explain itself. It arrives quickly and leaves quietly.
When it meets a mind trained in scarcity, it feels risky, threatening, or overwhelming. When it meets a mind trained in abundance, it feels natural. This is not luck, it is alignment. The law is simple. What you are prepared for, you can receive. What you are not prepared for, you will resist or sabotage. Building an abundance mindset over 30 days is not about forcing positivity. It is about preparing your thinking so when opportunity appears, you recognize it instead of fearing it. Pressure does not change who you are. It reveals how you think. When resources feel tight, when time feels short, when expectations feel heavy, your default mindset comes forward. One person under pressure starts to protect, hoard, and panic. Another starts to prioritize, adapt, and learn. Consider a worker who faces unexpected expenses. A scarcity-trained mind immediately sees threat. Every decision becomes defensive. Fear narrows choices. An abundance-trained mind sees the same pressure but asks different questions. What can I adjust? What can I improve? What skill can I strengthen? The pressure is the same. The pattern is different. Or think of someone starting a small project. Early setbacks cause one person to quit, believing there is not enough room, not enough time, not enough support. Another sees feedback, not failure. Pressure exposes the internal system you have been practicing all along. That is why training your mindset before pressure arrives matters. Your focus is your most valuable resource. Treat it as such. Scarcity thinking scatters focus. It pulls attention toward worry, comparison, and distraction. Abundance thinking concentrates focus. It directs attention toward what you can influence now. Ask yourself where your attention goes when nothing is demanding it. Does it drift toward what you lack or toward what you can build? Focus is like light. Spread thin, it warms nothing. Directed, it can ignite progress. Protect your focus the way you would protect something precious, because it is. Every time you give it away without intention, you weaken the structure of abundance you are trying to build. Growth follows a simple sequence, and abundance thinking respects that sequence. First you learn, then you apply, then you evaluate, then you correct, then you persist. Scarcity thinking skips steps. It wants results without patience. It applies without learning, or quits without evaluating. Abundance thinking understands that improvement is layered. One day you notice a better reaction. Another day you notice clearer choices. Over time, these small shifts compound. The key is not intensity, it is consistency. Ask yourself not what feels exciting, but what feels sustainable. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is dependable. An abundance mindset is not built on how inspired you feel. It is built on systems you follow when inspiration fades. Moods change daily. Systems work daily. When you rely on motivation, scarcity returns the moment motivation disappears. When you rely on discipline, progress continues quietly. Discipline creates evidence. Evidence strengthens belief. Belief reinforces discipline. This loop is how abundance becomes stable instead of fragile. Time works differently for those who understand seasons. You cannot rush a harvest. You cannot criticize a seed for not becoming a tree overnight. Strategic patience is not passive. It is active trust in process. Over 30 days, you are not trying to become a different person. You are training a different direction. One small shift today compounds into clarity later. Abundance respects time. Scarcity fights it. Feedback is not judgment. It is guidance. Measure your thoughts. Notice your reactions. When something doesn't work, adjust without drama. Correction is not failure. It is refinement. The abundance mindset welcomes feedback because it values growth over ego. Each correction sharpens your system. Each adjustment strengthens your foundation. Momentum builds slowly, then suddenly. At first, effort feels heavy, like pushing a large wheel that barely moves. But with each push, resistance decreases. One day, movement becomes easier. That is compounding. That is momentum. Most people stop just before momentum begins. They mistake slow progress for no progress. Abundance thinkers understand that early effort is an investment, not a verdict. Eventually, abundance becomes not something you chase, but something you live. It shows in your calm. It shows in your choices. It shows in your patience. Breakthrough is not a single moment. It is a lifestyle built on daily alignment. One day you realize you no longer react the way you used to. You no longer think the way you used to. And that is when you know the work has taken root. The work you did quietly has changed the way you move through the world. And from that place, abundance is no longer something you seek. It is something you express.